Welcome back, boys and girls, and today I want to compare my ugly versus beautiful. It's 300 blackout versus 10 millimeter. And I want to tell you why I think high point carbine makes a lot of sense. If you compare the looks, there is no doubt AR is much more beautiful. High point carbine is about 6 inch shorter, but has 1.5 inch longer barrel. As for the magazine, hands down AR wins. That comes with so many different magazines, but with high point you can have one magazine that only fits 10 rounds. 300 blackout weighs 7 pounds and 13 ounces. High point carbine weighs 8 pounds and 1 ounce, but has a heavier scope on it. As for the ammunition, 300 blackout and 10 millimeter. Now 300 blackout comes out of barrel at about 2100 feet per second and 10 millimeter about 1300 feet per second. Now even though this is flatter shooting, I consider both of them within 100-yard hunting caliber because of the downrange energy. Now I didn't realize how well made this carbine was until I actually shot it free-handed. Now having this stripe tightened down like this and having most of the weight in the back of the rifle, I was able to get on the target easier. And believe it or not, with this crazy spring buttstock, and every time I pull the trigger, it would bounce back, but my muzzle would point at the target. So it was not easier to have a follow-up shot, and it was steadier. Whereas 300 blackout, even though this is a lighter rifle and has a less recoil, every shot I had to try to find my way back to the target. And because this is a front heavy, I find myself more unstable. First, I'm going to be taking 3 shots on the left load, freehand. I feel like this is more accurate. I could get on the target with the follow-up shots. It feels like it's got even more recoil, but with the spring buttstock, I could get right back on the target. Okay, this is at 25 yards. Now this is 300 blackout, free-handed. Didn't do too well. I know it's shaking a lot. And that's 1, 2, 3. That's 10 millimeter. I did much better with 10 millimeter. I felt like it was more stable. Now 300 blackout, this is a free floating barrel, and this is much more accurate than 10 millimeter. But next I have idea to make this barrel free floating and then compete it at 50 to 100 yards. Even as a home defense, I really think this carbine is better because it's more compact, and having 10 millimeter, it's got a really good knockdown power. At the same time, you won't travel to your next house. Whereas 300 blackout or 223 will penetrate more and might even go to your neighbor's house. Now, don't get me wrong, I got 6 or 7 AR, so I love my AR rifles. I have it in 223, 300 blackout, 6.5 Claymore, 338 Federal, 308, and 450 Bushmasters. Yeah, that makes it 6. So I love my AR rifles, and I'll never think about trading in with high point carbine. But as for 300 blackout, if I had to choose one for survival rifle, I think I might go with high point. Next, I'm gonna free float this barrel and then compete with 300 blackout from 50 and 100 yards. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have. Enjoy life with what you got, but mostly remember, inexpensive doesn't mean it's always a bad thing. See ya.